Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. We're going to get into our reaction video. Before we do so, make sure you subscribe to the video, hit the notification button, like the video, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, the podcast guys _. We are on Rumble, the podcast guys _, and on Twitter, the new X, new little while ago, but still nonetheless X, the podcast guys 5. Let's get into our reaction video.
It's funny! It's funny! I hate you! Bro, you're a weird too. Like, it's not funny. Dude, no, you are rushing me to the point of when I really got sick. You do good because of you. I hate you. You're a loser. You're a loser!
What do we have here? A crazy chick. That's what we have here. Crazy chick.
Man, I really feel bad for that guy. Like, as I'm watching this video, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes and try to imagine, like, a girl flipping out, yelling, causing a scene. Everyone's staring at them. She's calling him a loser. And, like, so from what I've made out from that video, she said that he was rushing her to go to the airport, and then it turns out that their flight got delayed or canceled, which is obviously out of either of their control. He probably had good intentions by trying to get there on time, whatever. But it's no reason for her to create a scene like this and blame everything on him. But let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. And I feel bad for that guy, but I can only feel bad for all the guys that are going through similar circumstances, such as this behavior from these women. It's just awful, awful, awful. I mean, yeah, they had to rush, and maybe she didn't feel good. They had to rush. They were probably going to miss their flight. Looks like they didn't. Something happened. Not too sure. Maybe got delayed, whatever the case may be. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that there is absolutely no reason for a woman to act that way.
She had a temper tantrum like a small child. Like, I would expect that from maybe a 4 or 5 year old kid stomping their feet, yelling at their parents because, you know, they were hungry or something like that. To make a scene like that is absolutely embarrassing. Not only did she make a scene, the entire airport was looking at them. She's calling this guy's a loser. She's screaming, screeching her voice. Holy shit.
Terrible. Made a scene, said that I hate you. I mean, is it really that extreme? Is it really that extreme that you have to go so far to tell your boyfriend or whatever relationship they have that you hate him?
I wonder,
like, really?
When women talk about emotional intelligence, I wonder if this is what they're referring to when they say emotional intelligence. Is that emotional intelligence?
Not too intelligent, if you ask me. I think that's freaking stupid, if you ask me. So, is that immediate grounds for a breakup?
Yeah, if a woman acts like that, especially in a public setting, you have to end it. When the video kind of zoomed in on the guy, you could almost tell, like, this isn't the first time he's been through it with her. Like, you could kind of tell that, like, this is probably, like, the 10th time that he had to deal. He's probably used to her acting this way. I don't think any guy should ever put up with that. That's psychotic behavior. One outburst like that would be enough for me to just end it.
Yeah, he was hiding under the hoodie, embarrassed as hell, probably contemplating on leaving this girl behind or just walking away completely. I think at one point he may have walked away. But it's just ridiculous how someone can take something so far, something probably very minuscule, not so serious, not a big deal. I mean, if you're missing a flight, you have to try to run and catch. You have to do what it takes. He was leading in that situation to try to catch the flight because he was telling her, hey, we got to move. That's apparently why she went all mad. But to go all ballistic like that is just insanity. And it happens out there because nowadays you see people do some crazy stuff, but it's also rare. You don't see it as often, but it does happen, and there's no excuse for that. A man should not put up with a woman that's just blowing up on him for no reason.
If she acts like that in public, how does she act when they're behind closed doors? How does she talk to him when they're having an argument or something really goes down behind closed doors? That's scary to think about.
That's the scary thing because he's not the only guy that goes through it. You can take it to the bank that there's a lot of men out there that are dealing with women that put them down, that curse at them, that blow up on them, hit them. And again, domestic violence is one of the worst things that is happening around the country, around the world, and cannot be tolerated whatsoever. If a woman is blowing up on you, she's just cursing you out, putting you down, that's it. It's over. You walk away. No matter how long you've been with her, no matter what you've gone through together, that's it. If she hits you, behind closed doors, she could be hitting the guy. She could be abusing the guy. We don't know. But the signs are all pointing in that direction based on what happened in front of the public.
Essentially what she did is she took all her anger out on him for something that was not his fault and at his control. It's not his fault the flight was delayed or canceled. Plus if he didn't push her to get to the airport on time, they might have missed their flight to begin with if it was on time, and then it still would have been his fault. So with women like this, you can't win.
So it's fair to say that there's no reason whatsoever for her to blow up on this guy.
Nope.
Doesn't
Based
matter.
on this, no.
It doesn't matter. Fellas out there, if a woman blows up on you, if she curses you out in public, embarrasses you in public, that's it. It's over. You walk away. That's it.
You want to know something crazy really quick? I was watching, there's a series of like people reacting and stitching this video on TikTok. And one woman's take, she sided with the woman. She goes, I listened to the video and it sounds like she's responding to abusive behavior. The guy is probably a narcissist. And I'm like, are you serious? You're still going to defend her? Like, that's how some women are, is they just play the victim and they're always going to turn it around and make it about the guy. She watched this video and she has the balls to sit there and say that she's just making bland assumptions about the guy. Oh, he's probably a narcissist. He probably abused her. That's why she's reacting this way. What?
I mean, there may have been things that the guy has done before. There may have been things that she has done before, but we're seeing the situation that happened right then and there, right? Because every couple has issues. They have their fights, they have their arguments. They happen all the time. But we're seeing there what she did to him. And what she did to him is inexcusable. It's uncalled for. There's no reason at all for her to do that. Even in a chaotic situation, there's no reason for her to blow up on him. You have to keep things private behind closed doors and keep them calm. If there's something that you don't disagree with as a woman, you don't argue with your man. He's leading you. He's in charge. I don't blame him if he just walked away and disappeared from her at that point.
I wanted to ask you, why do you think guys like that even put up with women like that? Why is he even still with her?
Might feel like he doesn't have a choice. Might feel like he's an average guy and he doesn't have as many options. It's the unfortunate situation that a majority of men go through, where they are out in the world, they want to date, have a girlfriend, have some sort of relationship with a woman, and it's hard for them to get one. This may be one case where this guy was able to somehow lock in this woman for a relationship, and he didn't have many options. She was one of the few or his only one option that he had, and he took it and ran with it, and he's putting up with this BS to keep the relationship because it's either that or nothing. But at that point, it's not worth it. It's better to walk away and have your peace. I'd rather have my peace. Men rather have their peace instead of being yelled at by some woman and in public.
I agree. I think when guys stick around with women like that, it's because they fear that they're not going to be able to replace her or get another girlfriend. So they're just like, I'll put up with her bullshit and I'll just, at least I'll have somebody to date. And it's not worth it because, look, women like this isn't the first time she flipped out like this. I guarantee you. you're going to have a situation where it might get physical. You may have a situation where cops get called. It's not worth it. When women act psychotic like this, there's no excuse for it. You shouldn't date women like this. You shouldn't even be around women like this because they're going to bring problems, serious problems. In this case, they just, she flipped out on him at an airport. It's embarrassing. They're going to get on their flight. What if she did it on the plane? You know what? What I find interesting about videos like this is, we don't know what happened afterwards, but I didn't see any security or police show up or anybody go up to them. If a man acted like that, he would have been probably pepper sprayed, tased, put on a no-fly list, and thrown in jail. I don't even know. I think this is just another example of a lack of accountability because women could get away with shit like this, and people look at them and they're like, she's probably on her period, or she's probably just pissed off or something. Imagine as a man acting like that in an airport, man, you'd be in jail later that day.
You answered my question somewhat there because I was about to ask, what if the roles were reversed? What if a man was acting that way with a woman?
Oh, I don't think it would have went so smoothly. I think as a guy, try yelling in general at an airport as a man. You see what happens. The security is going to show up. They don't care what your reasoning is. They're going to show up. They're going to tase you. You're going to end up on World Star Hip Hop, and then you're going to end up in prison and on a no-fly list. They would never tolerate a guy acting like that.
I would see a lot of people assume a lot of people would come to her defense because the guy, strong guy, versus a woman who is weaker compared to the guy. So, I feel like there would be more protection in that case for her. But the other way around, it's the woman abusing the guy verbally and psychologically, mentally. And it's unfair that he didn't have more of a support there, but it seems like people just kind of want to, stay their own business, do their own thing, and avoid the situation. It seemed like he wasn't asking for help, which in that case, if it gets too extreme, and that's, one of the many times she's done it, or even if it's the first time she's done that, I would at least walk away, get away from the situation. What do you think I'm not exactly sure what the end result was, if they went on the trip together, if he walked away, but what should have happened right then and there? Should he have walked away, gone home, or maybe taken his flight and gone somewhere else away from her because, she was still going on the flight likely, or should he have taken a flight somewhere else?
You know what? Assuming they were on their way to a vacation, not coming back home, I probably would have walked away from that trip altogether because if they go on that flight and they go on that trip, that is going to be a miserable trip because she's going to be probably bringing that up the entire time, picking fights and arguments the entire time. I would rather just stay home at that point. The one thing I'll give him credit for is that he kept his cool. He didn't argue back. He didn't, get loud. The fact that he was able to sit there and be cool, calm, and collective while she puts on the circus act, I have to give him credit because I think when you're dealing with psychotic women like this, you have to keep your cool, let her finish running her mouth, and then at that point, the key thing is to just cut her out. In his case, if they were on their way to a vacation, I don't know if there's any point at this point of him even going on that trip. I think he should have just, after this was all over, he should have gotten up, walked away, Ubered back home, forget that trip and forget her.
Well, he was even giving her that look like, relax.
Yeah.
And telling her to relax.
Right.
Because he didn't want to deal with this whole blow up. Seems like he's been through it before by his expression. He's like you said before, the oh no, not again type of look. But you got to walk away at that point. You can't take that abuse as a man. And if you men are going through that out there, you got to walk away. The other thing is, should men start being more, because men are leaders, women are followers at the end of the day. Should men be more manly? Should men put women in their place? Yeah. Obviously not physically or anything like that. We're trying to keep it where it's, nice and easy on both sides. No domestic violence at all. Nothing like that. What we're saying is that keep your woman in line. Let her know that if she doesn't follow your lead, that you're leaving her. Whether or not you're the average guy, whether or not you're afraid of losing her, you got to make a decision. You have to take control and let her know that that attitude will not be tolerated in this relationship, or you're moving on, because it's only going to get worse. In that situation, that's when pretty much she showed that she has that guy by the balls. I mean, really? You men out there want a woman to have you by the balls? Or will you be men and grow a pair and let her know that it's not going to be that way? You're going to tell her that it's not going to be that way. And you are going to move forward with being the leader and taking initiative and being confident and having her follow along with your direction, because that's how it should be. That's the best way that it works. Nowadays we have this whole charade going on where, I'm going to just follow her and do what she wants, and it's going to be okay. I'm going to have a great relationship. I'm going to get my dick wet once in a while. It's going to work out fine. It's going to be good. I'm okay. I'm going to be a pussy.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, guys. It doesn't work like that. If you go around, whether or not you're in the relationship or not, you don't simp. A lot of guys are simping. They're giving the woman all the leverage, and they're walking around weak physically, weak-minded, weak everything. And what you got to do is wake the fuck up before it's too late for you.
Two things that I guarantee you he did from square one since he started dating her. I bet you he put up with her little temper tantrums from the beginning. So like you said, he probably never put his foot down with her when she would, because in the beginning she probably started with little flip outs before it got this bad. And he probably just said to himself, let me not argue back. Let me not say anything there. I don't want to make it worse. And it actually has the reverse result. Instead of making things better, you're just showing her that she can get away with that. That's one. And the second thing I guarantee you he did wrong is he stuck around the entire time. He never at one point was he never showed her I'm going to leave you and I'm not going to just temporarily leave you for a couple of days. Just I'm out. And she learned okay, I could get away with however, whatever behavior I want. This guy is never going to leave me. I have him on lockdown. And that's when you just give a woman the go to act however she wants, because she knows you're not leaving. She knows you're not going to say anything. So there you go.
Well, in this specific situation right there, it shows that it's already gone so far
You can't fix it.
that it's too late to go back. So there must have been situations and unfortunate circumstances that happened between those two prior to that blowout by this woman in the airport, because you don't just go and blow up on somebody that you care about in the airport for no reason. Because in general, there is no reason to do that. It's inexcusable. And she showed right there that, because they were rushing through, that he was an asshole. And do you think this is funny, she was saying. And he wasn't trying to be funny. It's something was up with her. Something probably is up with her. Maybe she has some sort of issues, underlying issues. We don't know that. We're not doctors here to give a diagnosis, whether she's bipolar or not. Not sure about that. Could be, maybe not. However, it shouldn't get that far. Things happened prior to that where that guy should have cut it off way before. But he put up with it because maybe he likes
convenience. It's easier to just keep her around and,
He likes having someone around, and It's easy. It's an easy relationship to deal with. He's getting, his pee wet, and, he's comfortable with that. But you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, whether that means being single or being single and working on yourself to become a better man. I think that's very, very important, which guys seem to just let go by over their heads. They focus on chasing a woman or being with one woman, whether they're going to be tortured for the next, couple years, if they're just together for a couple years, or whether he looks at her as his forever girl, and he's going to torture himself for the next, 15, 20, 30 years, however long they last. If it starts out in a bad way, it's likely bound to fail. So you might as well back out and go in a different direction instead of going into the tunnel where you'll never see the light at the end of that tunnel.
You know what the most dangerous thing about women like this is? Sooner or later, I guarantee you the day will come where they're going to have a real blowout, where she's going to really be over the top, maybe even get physical. And when cops get called, guess what she's going to do? She's going to start crying. She's going to start playing victim. He did this to me. He said that. He hit me. And now you are screwed, my friend, because they are always going to side with the woman. When women display psychotic traits, psychotic behavior, you need to run for the hills. Like you said, it's not worth sticking around for the box. It's not worth sticking around just because it's more difficult to replace them and go back to being single. Screw all that. At least when you're single, you're going to have peace. He's never going to have peace with this broad.
Yeah, I mean, she can create a situation where she's just going to turn it on him and blame him. It's his fault. He did it.
Oh, yeah. You better believe it.
Taking accountability for these women is their kryptonite nowadays. They hate taking accountability.
Yep.
When it's their fault, they hate it. They won't admit it. I'm not sure, again, what happened after that whole airport fiasco, but I'm pretty sure that after all that happened, maybe someone came up to them and she said it wasn't her fault. It was all his fault.
You know what he should have done? He should have quietly went and said, oh, hold on, dear. I'm going to go talk to the representative at the desk and switch her flight to a one-way flight to a different continent or something like that. Definitely. He should have bumped her up to first class one way to New Zealand or something like that. So gotten her the hell out of this.
Maybe change your flight to the next day or something.
Either that or change his own flight. Like, listen, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is we are going to still fly out. The bad news is that I'm going to Florida and you're going to Zimbabwe or something.
Yeah. Leave her ass behind because, man, come on. I mean, ladies, why do you have to give men headaches? Why can't you bring men peace? It's the reason why we are such at odds when it comes to trying to create some special relationship with you. Men don't want to deal with it. And this is the reason why men prefer not to date.
Oh, this is a prime example. Like you brought up a good point. We always talk about peace, right? I think women hear that and they think like we're being out of line. Like, oh, what do you mean you want peace? This is what we mean. This is what this guy's dealing with. Poor bastard has to deal with this at the airport, probably when he comes home from work in the morning, on his weekends, on his days off. Is it worth it?
And again, we're not saying that this guy hasn't been at fault for doing something wrong.
Right.
Maybe she's, done something wrong before. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. It's what she did there in that moment.
Exactly.
That's her fault. That's not the guy's fault. You could see that he's embarrassed as hell. And for anyone defending her, they should be ashamed of themselves because there's no defense for that. Again, behind closed doors, she could grab something and hurt him, for out of nowhere, for no reason. So, again, we want people to be safe. We don't want domestic violence. It happens, unfortunately, because there's stuff on the news every day about something happening. But for any side, both men and women, to prevent a situation from getting that far, get away from it. Get away from the relationship.
Men are always painted as the aggressor, but this is a prime example of how the woman could be the aggressor, and it doesn't always have to be physical. Look how she was talking to him. Look how loud she got. And to do this in a public area like an airport where people are about to get on a flight. Airports are stressful as it is. Everybody's kind of uptight at an airport. How can you act like that in that type of an environment?
Which is why you don't, as a man, let a woman take the masculine role and you be the feminine pussy bitch, where she's going to just wipe the floor off with you. It's what she's going to do. It's what women are going to do. If you let women know that you're not going to take it, or you just simply walk away, that's the best course of action. Let her be who she wants to be. Walk away from her. And that way everybody will live happily ever after.
100%. He needs to leave her and let her pull that shit with someone else, because look, she might date another guy and pull that shit, and he's not going to have it. I think this guy's reached a point of no return. You're not going to fix her. You're not going to change her. We don't know how long they've dated for, but it's pretty clear that this isn't the type of woman where it's even worth trying to make things worth. No woman's that special to stick around and deal with this shit. So you should just leave.
Women that are going to act like this, that are acting like this at this moment with their other half, cut it out, because it's not something that's going to give the relationship longevity. You want a long-lasting relationship? You want to be somebody because you actually care for them? I mean, now it seems to be where women just want to be with men for their own interests. It doesn't even seem like women give a shit about men.
No, they don't.
I mean, here's the question: do women really care about men? Do women actually like men, or are they bringing them in because they're interested in some sort of benefit from men, whether it's monetary benefit or some other benefit?
I would argue that most women could give two shits about the guy, and a lot of the times this includes their own husband. They don't give a shit about the guy. They just use the man as a tool to get what they want, as a vehicle to get what they want. Certain amount of money, a lifestyle, a house. Obviously you need a man to have a kid with, and that's about it. It's all very surface level. It's what can I get out of this guy? But they could really give two shits about the guy.
Yeah,
most of the time. That's just a cold hard reality.
Including time and attention. They suck that away from men. When men could be going out there and trying to better the world, save the world, do many things to improve other people's lives. Instead, they're being sucked dry by a woman. Men don't want that. Men don't want to deal with that. You guys, as usual, I'm sure you guys, meaning the ladies out there, don't like to hear it, but it is what it is. If you didn't do it, we wouldn't be talking about it. Simply put, if you didn't do these things and hurt men in a negative way like this, we wouldn't bring it up. There would be no reason to talk about it. So make the change. And if you can change yourself, just at least one person changes himself, the world changes. Because it could be a domino effect. It could really be a domino effect. But if women don't want to change, don't expect a different result. Don't expect to have a man, stick around with you if he's going to deal with that shit.
Stay single, avoid toxic women. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We will catch you on the next video. Thank you.
Peace.